Thank you, Hallie. I'm now joined by Alex Conant, Communications Director for the Rubio campaign. Alex, happy caucus day.
Hey, thank you.
Is this your first caucus on a campaign?
Yeah, this is the first time my candidate has made it to the caucus.
Made it to the caucus.
Let alone
Fair
made
enough.
it to the caucus.
That's right. That's right. We had a man north of the Iowa border back in the day, Mr. Poleni. So, look, you guys have been a bit cagey about defining what success is. Look, as a journalist, I get it, but at some point, you've got to have something in your head. Obviously, you're hoping you're part of the story tonight, and part of the story means you're a pretty strong third or a surprise second.
Yeah, well, I don't think a surprise second is going to happen. If we can be a strong third, we're going to be really happy with that. Mm-hmm. You know, there's traditionally 3 tickets out of Iowa. If Marco's got one of those 3, then I think we can go into New Hampshire with some momentum. We'll feel really good about that, especially when you consider everything that was thrown at us in here in the last couple of weeks. $1 million worth of ads per day from Jeb Bush's campaign. Ted Cruz going 100% negative on Marco in the last week as he's seen Marco gain momentum. So if we can finish strong here with a little bit of momentum, come in a solid 3rd place, I mean, that's a good omen for what's going to come in New Hampshire or South Carolina down the road. You know,
you've seen some of the criticism from people who are Rubio fans. I look at a guy like Ross Stothat, who's a columnist for the New York Times, who's questioned whether Rubio has underperformed a little bit in the minds of some because he won't go directly after Trump. And I know that you guys take issue with that. So take issue with it.
We would rather spend our time going after Hillary Clinton. I mean, at the end of the day, the only way we're going to beat Hillary Clinton is if we can unite the Republican Party. We believe that Marco...
But until you get to Hillary Clinton, you're going to have to get over Donald Trump.
Absolutely. But we do that by uniting the Republican Party, which is why we have stayed focused on Hillary Clinton.
Is this a party that wants to be united yet?
Well, it's going to be a party that needs to be united. I think Marco's the only candidate in the race that has the potential to do that, to unite the Republican Party. If he's our nominee, going to beat Hillary Clinton. And I think voters in Iowa increasingly recognize that, which is why you've seen us move up in the last couple of weeks.
Obviously, this little battle that's taken place between Ted Cruz and Rubio, obviously it must make you feel good that they came and threw ads at you. It sort of confirms what you've been trying to tell the rest of us is, hey, we're on the move. Look, see? Yeah. He would be attacking us if we weren't on the move. Do you view him as your greatest threat to the nomination?
Well, that's a good question. We view, obviously, he's the front runner here in Iowa. He's got the greatest ground game that's ever been assembled here in Iowa.
Donald Trump's the guy first in the polls. Why do you view Cruz as the front runner?
He's got the greatest ground game. A couple weeks ago, he was at 40% in the polls.
Look at you guys puffing him up here.
Well, he was. And just today, his campaign chair, Bob Vanderplas, was predicting a double-digit margin victory here. Mm-hmm. He's got the greatest ground game, something like 12,000 volunteers from around the country they've got here working for him. I mean, if he can't win here, then he's got huge problems. But we fully expect that he will win here because of all the aforementioned.
How important is New Hampshire to getting your campaign? It's sort of like if Iowa's one booster rocket, New Hampshire, I assume, has got to then be another step.
Obviously, New Hampshire is very important. That's why we're getting on a plane as soon as the caucuses are over here and waking up in New Hampshire tomorrow. And we'll spend the next week campaigning hard on the ground there like we did here. But it's going to be we also recognize this is going to be a long campaign. No one's going to seal up the nomination after New Hampshire, after South Carolina, even after Nevada. We're going to go into March, potentially even April. We're designed for the long haul. We have campaign chairmen in all 50 states. We have the resources, thanks to some really strong donations in the last quarter, to go the distance.
What does it mean for the Republican Party if Donald Trump, a guy that hasn't even voted in a Republican primary, according to one report since 1989, any Republican Party, what does that mean? What does that say about the state of the Republican Party?
Well, I think there's a lot of frustration out there, and people are understandably upset at the direction of the country. They're sick of Washington, D.C. They want change, and I understand that Donald Trump has done a very good job of capturing that frustration. That's why he's doing well here, why I expect he'll come in second tonight, potentially close to Ted Cruz. You know, at the end of the day, though, we need solutions. If we're going to beat Hillary Clinton, we need some optimism, some solutions, and as I said before, the ability to unite the Republican Party, which only Marco Rubio can do in this race.
Do you, where the Republicans maybe aren't focused on a general election message, they want a primary message?
Yeah, I mean,
look, you guys have a general election message, and I get it.
And I think all the sniping and silliness that we've seen between the Donald Trump campaign and the Ted Cruz campaign is not good for the Republican Party long term. That's why Marco's tried so hard to stay focused on Hillary Clinton, because ultimately she's the opponent.
All right, Alex Conant, this is the beginning of what will be a lot of sleepless nights, I promise you.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride, and we feel really, we're coming into the caucuses tonight with some momentum, feel really good about where we're at.
All right, good luck, and remember to enjoy it at some point.
Thanks.